Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today Call of Duty dropped our first looks at Verdansk, the actual map, and the first things we can see here is there's zips. We got the hospital area, and we can see there's zips here, and then we got a little bit of the downtown area that they're showing with stadium in the background. Pretty awesome. It's looking really good, and to be honest, it's looking pretty true to the original build of Verdansk. I'm really excited. We got the old school helicopter up here on the hospital. So let's go ahead and react to the video that Call of Duty just dropped. This is our very first look. I've got the audio off. Don't want to get a copyright strike for that. So already you can see they're showing a couple different POIs. We've got the park area here. Oh man, so many good memories fighting here. It looks pretty similar. I think that is like the spiral statue that was originally there, in the building out there. And then we've got the cranes over here in the canals area. You can see a little bit of prison over here. We'll take a further look over there when we get there. One thing that people are concerned about is the water on the map, and it looks like from what I'm hearing, the little water that is on the map is not actually swimmable, and that's kind of what it's looking like here. That's pretty much confirmed. The only water that I'm hearing you can actually swim in is here along the coastline, and I don't think that's really going to have a big impact. So let's go ahead, let's go to the next frame. So we got dam here. It's looking pretty true. Like, I'm pretty sure this is all pretty true to the original. It does look a little revamped, you know, like I think some things have colors that weren't necessarily there to begin with, but I think everything else looks pretty true. Like, we got the bridge here. All these little buildings. I remember all the little electric boxes that you could fight. We got the helipad here. It's looking pretty good. We got the towers up top and the little buildings. So it is the original dam before it became the little canyon area up there. So that's pretty awesome. We'll keep it cruising. Here's a better look at prison. We got the helipad in the middle. All the little buildings that you can fight in and the towers as well. It's once again looking pretty true to the original. It's really exciting to see. I remember all the fights just hot dropping to prison with the squad back in the day, man, when it first dropped. I'm pretty excited for all of this. We've got a TV station. That was a little look on the inside of TV station, and it honestly, it's looking so good. I think there's some like extra texture that they added. It looks a little more like decayed than I remember, but you know, it's been a while since we've been there, so who's to say, honestly. It does look pretty revamped though, from what I can tell, but the windows up top look pretty much the same. Remember, you could shoot through when people were fighting in here. You'd hot drop, you'd land on the roof, and then some people would go inside and you'd see people fighting inside, and you could kind of catch a couple, you know, through the roof there. We'll keep it cruising. There's the outside of airport, the terminal area. It's looking pretty good. I think this is new destruction. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. I don't think that destruction was there. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't think this pillar was broken. I don't remember this being broken, but maybe maybe it's just been too long. I don't remember all that destruction. Maybe it was there. Let me know in the comments. That's something you could do. Let me know in the comments if I'm just remembering wrong. It's been quite some time since we've been to Verdansk, guys. I'm so excited. This looks great so far. Oh, there's a little bit of the coastline as well. This will be swimmable area, which we did not have in the original, so that will change up things a little bit. I really don't think it'll be that crazy. I think like even on Caldera there was like a little bit of a coastline, but if you went too far, I think you died. But I don't really think this will change up too much. Maybe in ranked, you got people kind of trying to cheese it out a little bit in the ocean, stay away from fights. We got this little neighborhood. Oh man, so many fights here. Although no, that building looks the same, man. Yeah, we got the buildings with that one window up top. I know a lot of people would camp in these attics up here, and you'd have to watch these windows. I remember rolling into this neighborhood a lot, and that's the one thing you do. You watch these upper windows here. People would camp in those a lot. That's pretty awesome. This is over here in Quarry, OG building, and man, honestly, it's so crazy to see how true to the map it actually looks. I remember fighting up in these hills a little bit too, man. You get those end circles where it was like you'd get trapped by the gas, and whoever ended up here ended up being the winner. Pretty exciting stuff. We got downtown, the bank. They had the vaults in the original. I think this was that was the Easter egg for around the Nakatomi Plaza era, maybe give or take. You could go in and there was the Juggernaut challenge that you could do in the bank. Me and my buddies, man, great memories, great memories. Downtown's looking great. I think this is a new panel on the side of this building here, but that building I remember, it's looking real good, man. All the buses blown up here in the streets, stadium in the background there. First looks at downtown. How exciting, guys. A little more of a open shot of Quarry here. How cool, guys. How excited are you guys to go back home? Are you guys first timers, or are you coming back? Did you quit playing at any point? Let me know in the comments. I'm really interested to see how many people are planning on coming back and how many people are just veterans that have stuck around since the original. Oh, there was another thing. There's a new zip station. That kind of looks like the zip stations on Caldera. They had those up like in Quarry for Caldera as well. Oh, airport. This looks a little different to me. Maybe not, though. I think these are different. I think these little assets here are different. Maybe those were either different or non-existent. Yeah, I don't know. It's been such a long time. It's hard to remember every little detail. So they talk a little bit here. We started our really want to keep this nostalgic, which it looks so good and really true to the original design. I love that. There's train station here. I believe we are gonna have the train on day one as well. That's what we're hearing. As far as some of the leaks, looks great. I think a little bit of this has been updated. I don't think like the pallets were there before. It's so hard to remember though. I'm so excited. The grass, the bushes. That's one thing. I was curious to see if they were going to stick around with the trees. And so far it looks like the trees are there. And I mean, that might be interesting. I remember back in the day, a lot of the bushes and things were really hideable. And people would pull some cheeky moves that way, So it's going to be interesting how ranked plays on this. We got a little more of a vertical look at train station. And I'm loving the fact that they left the trees, because I was worried that the trees weren't going to be there, and that would have just taken away the whole feel of the map. I think a lot of this terrain looks great. Just revamped graphics and everything looks great. See, we still got some bushes and stuff. I'm just so excited to play in this in kind of the outside part of Verdansk. A lot of the trees and the terrain there. Got to look at downtown here. Lot of fights on these buildings, man. It's great, man. I'm so excited. I'm really glad they kept it all like it looks as close to original as I think possible. And I think they've updated a lot of good stuff. One of the things you'll really notice here coming up, um, right here, this is the new stadium. So it looks close to the original, but if you notice up top is completely rebuilt. So we got zips here. I think there were zips originally, but this is a new zip. And then we also have a lot of cover now up here. There's a couple walls. The dome is much bigger than it ever was originally. And it looks a lot more fightable, a lot more defendable. I remember if you hot dropped up here originally, it was just flat. There was no, you weren't escaping. So that looks good. A lot of the outside area here looks pretty similar to the original. And then I know we're hearing that apparently there's going to be an indoor area where you can kind of go inside here. So it's kind of a revamp of the stadium in a way that's true to the original, but a little bit built up. That, like I said, a little more defendable, a little more definable, because the original one was a little boring, if I'm being honest. So I'm glad they did that. Oh man, so excited. This water looks great, and like I said, I think a lot of this water is not swimmable. It's just like you'll run through it. That's pretty cool. A little bit of the textures there, showing on the walls. That looks all good. A little bit of the graffiti there. I think that's new. I don't remember that. I think these towers here were from Caldera era. I don't think those were in the original Verdansk. This building, which we took a look at earlier, I think this is a new graphic up here. I'm not sure. I can't remember the original. I think there was something up there. And this zip here, I think that zip was always there. It was just different. So now we have the new design of the zips. I think that was always there, at least from when they added zips, which I can't remember exactly when that was, but it's looking great. Our first look at the map, guys, that's awesome, man. It's looking great. A little bit of the graffiti and texture there. We got AC tower there. On fire. Looking great on the inside there. TVs. And there we have our first like little overview of airport and this little freeway area that was over here. It was pretty open over here. If you got caught here, especially if there's a team camping in AC, it's pretty detrimental to be caught up in this area. So I know they did an update to that area later on, so I'm curious to see if there's any changes over in this area behind here. It looks pretty original. See, I don't remember all that damage, but now that I think about it, I think that was there. I think it was like that, and I think I was tripping earlier, but it looks great, man. I'm so excited, guys. Let me know if you guys are excited as well. Wait, that was a little bit of prison here. Yeah, you had those little areas you can kind of walk on the outside here. The old gulag showers, which is also the bottom of prison. You can actually go in. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about the old gulag. Like I don't really care, I guess. But we had it for plenty long, and I think it's one of the things that I'm kind of like whatever about coming back. Yeah, I think it would have been cool if they gave us a new gulag, just in my own opinion. But I don't mind the old one coming back, and I think it'll be fun for nostalgia. And then this is the other area underneath prison. That got a little sketchy in there. The prison area underneath, above the gulag, looking great. The hallway textures, more of that's the part of the gulag area in prison. Looking great. A lot of the lighting and textures. It looks great, honestly. Like, this is the inside of airport. The lighting and everything looks pretty true to the original, but I think they've revamped it. Maybe it's not so intrusive. I'm worried about the sun a little bit. I know in the original, the sun, there were some angles that you could hold where it was just like you're being blinded by the sun, and it kind of it would get frustrating when people were holding angles to where you just see a shadow and there wasn't much you could do. This is the carnival area just outside of park. Wow. Yeah. We get our look at downtown stadium, prison back there behind my camera, the canals area, more of park. I remember this fire station. Wow. Just the memories that are coming back. I'm so excited. Oh, there's a little bit of outside stadium area. Again, our first looks, guys. This is amazing. I'm so excited to go back. I hope you guys are too. And I'm really excited to see how the community bounces back from this. At least I hope so. There's a little more of the outside terrain. I used to love fighting in the outside terrain. I think that's something that's kind of missed in the most recent maps, is the outside terrain areas aren't as interesting to fight in. And I think the trees is going to really bring that dynamic back of fighting outside in the terrain. So I'm really excited to see how that goes. Outside of prison here, there's a lot of areas outside of prison where you could get caught. So I'm interested to see a full look of downtown here, guys. Wow. Just the memories. Like, this is the first proper downtown area, and just fighting in these areas was so crucial. I remember there was a type of fear you had when you first walked into downtown with your squad, and you knew that there was just teams camping on every roof here, and you knew you had to be careful every time you were going through here. So it's exciting to be back in a proper downtown area. I think Al Mazrah had the second best downtown area. And that was, I think it captured that kind of scariness of being in a downtown, kind of a cityscape. It gave you that kind of zombie-esque feel where it's like, okay, there's a lot of nooks and crannies where people can be. And I'm really excited to go back here. The bank again, one of my favorite buildings there. Just the memories of doing that Juggernaut Easter egg back in the day where you had to identify the paintings. I hope they bring back some of those events, and possibly even Nakatomi Plaza at some point. That'd be great. But downtown area looking great, revamped with canal and prison in the back there, and then even park over there. We've got the promenade areas just behind my camera there as well. How exciting, guys. And then there's a little bit of the we used to call it like the LA River area. I'm over here on the west coast of the States in California, and me and my buddies, we used to always call that like the LA River. The canals area just outside of the promenade areas. Scrapyard. Awesome. Looking great. I don't remember if I think that's a new paint job on that plane, but I don't exactly remember. It's been so long for some of these things. So exciting. Oh man, I can't wait. You see some of the zips there. Go back. The zip there. I'm pretty sure this zip was there. I don't know if this one was there. I do remember zipping up on this building in the past, and in I believe in like the promenade area. There were some zips on some of those buildings as well, but I imagine a lot more buildings have zips since we have that asset more available, and it's been such a regular thing. I think these zips are all right. I think they add a good dynamic to combat camping. and I'm curious to see. I haven't seen any balloons. So I'm hoping they keep that original to that, and I'm wondering if personal redeploy drones and things like that will be in this version. We'll just have to see. All right, guys, and that's it. That's our first looks at Verdansk. Thanks for taking this trip back on memory lane with me. April 3rd, guys, we'll be dropping in first thing in the morning. So make sure you guys are dropping a like and a subscribe on the channel so you know when I go live. And we'll be live on April 3rd for our very first drop into Verdansk. And like I said, drop a like on the video if you guys enjoyed this. Our first looks at Verdansk, super exciting, and we'll see you next time. All right, bye.